The time is now and we are excited.
A makeover 40 years in the making. Work starts today on the 16th Street Mall. We're taking a look at the improvements you'll see next time you visit.
So much more space for people to enjoy, spend time, and to really create this heart of our city that people are proud of.
And Coloradans aren't getting their unemployment checks.
I wanted to let people know that there's a problem. I mean, this really is not the way a government ought to operate.
Some are waiting weeks to months to get them. Contact Denver 7 is taking your concerns to the state.
Clearly, that's a process we need to continue to work on and improve.
Plus, a Denver school not making the grade is on the rebound. How the school turned around its performance. And the Nuggets have a game plan to win their first-round playoff series against the Warriors.
Stay disciplined, stay focused. We know they're going to go into some big runs.
New at 11, former Douglas County School Superintendent Corey Wise is filing a discrimination complaint. That's typically a precursor to a lawsuit against the school district. It claims he was fired for advocating for masks in schools and his role in developing the district's education equity policy. Thanks so much for joining us for Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Jason Grenauer. Now, this complaint is against the district as well as 4 board members who voted to fire him. The complaint says Wise supported the district's equity policy and was associated with students with disabilities for supporting masks in schools. It also says Wise suffered emotional distress due to his firing. His attorney says Wise was deprived of the full benefit of his contract and couldn't retire with distinction from the district where he served for more than 25 years. Now, Wise was fired by the board 4-3 in early February. Last month, the district hired Aaron Kane to replace him. Denver 7's Shannon Ogden is talking with Wise today. You can watch more of his interview starting tonight on Denver 7 News at 5. Let's shift gears now and talk weather. A live look from the state capitol. That camera is shaking just a little bit. Warmer but very windy are going to be the headlines today. Meteorologist Stacey Donaldson is here. And Stace, that includes red flag warnings for a big chunk of our state.
That's right, and it includes Metro Denver as well. Stretches from Denver across the eastern plains for high fire danger for the rest of today. So we're going to have to watch out for that as we go through our afternoon. The winds, they're picking up as we speak, and that will be the case for the rest of the day. So it's been a few days with these high winds. At this point, we have 23-mile-an-hour gusts at DIA. We have 37 in Sterling and 64 for Berthoud Pass. So very gusty here across Colorado. Our highs today will be in the upper 50s to low 60s. So those temperatures will be a little warmer, but that really strong wind is going to make it feel a little cooler throughout the day, as it did yesterday. Temperatures in the upper 50s for much of the rest of the afternoon with lots of sunshine, few high clouds. But then we have more changes on the way as we head into our Easter weekend, and I'll have that forecast for you coming up.
All right, Stacey, thank you. The first major overhaul of the 16th Street Mall in Denver is happening right now, downtown. The city kicked off renovations about a half an hour ago. Now, getting to today took years of planning, and these are the first renovations since the mall opened 40 years ago. So work will start on Market Street, but every block will undergo construction. Here's what you'll see. Bus lanes will move to the center of the mall, creating a larger space for pedestrians. The mall will also see new pavers with better drainage. More trees will be added to create more shade, and things like water and electrical lines are going to be replaced.
The 16th Street Mall must be a place for everyone, not just a place to move through, but a place where people want to stay, linger, and enjoy life. The investments that are being made into this public space today will keep the mall thriving and exciting for decades to come.
Work is expected to wrap up by the end of 2024. You will still be able to visit restaurants, shops, and businesses there on the mall. Those are staying open through construction. Now, we did mention changes to those bus lanes. Well, construction on that started last week. The buses are still running just on a 5-block detour from Wazee to Arapahoe. The southbound buses will use 17th Street. The northbound ones will use 15th Street. A bill aimed at putting fentanyl dealers in jail has passed its first committee test at the state legislature, but not without some changes. The House Judiciary Committee approved an amendment yesterday making possession of 1 gram or more of fentanyl a felony. Originally, that amount was 4 grams.
I think we can all say 4 grams of fentanyl is a lot of fentanyl. That's 40 pills. That is not personal use. And so what we have done is we have created a floor when it comes to pure, and we have moved down that number from 4 to 1. And now it's important to realize this is no silver bullet. The possession issue is not going to solve the fentanyl crisis.
Another change would increase the severity of the felony if a pill contains at least 60% fentanyl. However, the state currently cannot test for exact fentanyl quantities. The amended bill must advance out of committee before it can go to the full House. The man accused of opening fire on a New York City subway train is facing federal charges relating to terrorism. Frank James is making his first appearance in federal court right now. He's being held without bail. Prosecutors say he shot 10 people during the morning commute. 19 other people were hurt. James was taken into custody yesterday after effectively turning himself in by calling the police.
We were able to shrink his world quickly. There was nowhere left for him to run. We used every resource at our disposal to gather and process significant evidence that directly links Mr. James to the shooting.
Police are still trying to establish a motive. They are looking at social media posts, including one from the day before the shooting that said he wanted to kill people. Here in Colorado, Governor Jared Polis wants to attract new workers to our state. He'll sign an executive order in Boulder at noon. His office says the order will support state agencies in order to recruit and retain workers. Well, Colorado now has recovered all jobs that were lost during the first 2 months of the pandemic. But the Labor Department still has a lot of catching up to do. Some Coloradans are being forced to wait months to receive their unemployment checks. Others are being falsely flagged for fraud. Contact Denver 7 has seen a spike in complaints, including a Loveland man who's been waiting 5 weeks for his check.
I've just been basically trying to make my nut as small as possible and living off savings. And I'm getting to the end of that. So it's getting a little scary.
We don't get into this job to have people wait forever. Don't get into this job to treat people poorly. We get into this job to try to assist people at a time of some serious financial need for them.
Now, the problem goes back to the pandemic when the state had 10 years worth of unemployment claims in 1 year. In an executive order, the governor expedited payouts and federal programs eased some of their restrictions. But both of those programs have since expired. The backlog is still there. The state is training 20 more people to try to process all of those claims. The future of the Adams 14 School District is in the hands of the State Board of Education. District officials are presenting an improvement plan right now. If the board rejects it, the district could be reorganized or Adams City High School could close. The district has been struggling for more than a decade. It received the state's 2 lowest performance ratings every year since 2010. 2 out of 10 students are reading at grade level there, and 1 in 10 are where they should be in math. Its 4-year graduation rate has also stayed well below the statewide average. Now, turning a school around can be hard work, but it can be done. Between 2016 and 2019, Eagleton Elementary in Denver went from having low performance ratings to meeting state standards. Denver 7's Jessica Crawford explains how they did it.
Bienvenidos a las familias de Eagleton.
Welcoming students to Denver's Eagleton Elementary for learning and fun.
I played with my friends and study a lot.
Gael Galvan is a 3rd grader at the Title I school. As recently as 2016 and 2018, the school was on a priority improvement plan, meaning the Colorado Department of Education found it was falling short of state expectations for students in some areas.
Estoy muy emocionada porque el lunes, el 24 de agosto, es el primer día de escuela.
Principal Janine Dillabaugh says truly connecting with students online and in person was one way the school was able to move the needle towards progress.
When students walk into our building, they are greeted by at least 2 to 3 staff members, and that is before they even walk through the front door of their classroom.
The school also making strides to being trauma-informed, bringing in a restorative justice approach coordinator to work with students facing behavioral issues.
Restorative approach is based on relationships. So they know that if the students did something wrong in the building, they need to sit down and have a process or have a conversation with Mr. Simmons in my office. And we're gonna get to the bottom of things, and we're gonna teach and reteach these kids those skills they're missing in the school grounds.
The approach to academics changed too.
We have worked to really ground teachers in the standards, unpacking standards, knowing what the standards require of their instruction so that they're providing grade level, rigorous work for our students.
In 2019, it appears those choices paid off. The school was in the green, meeting expectations on the majority of performance metrics. Students were also really enjoying certain subjects.
Writing and science.
But students like Gael are more than just numbers and colors on a school rating system.
I think one of the most amazing things about Eagleton is that we have a really nice balance of high expectations and love and compassion.
Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
Now, Colorado school students are taking some of their state assessments throughout this month. Schools like Eagleton are hoping that they can keep their strong performances going after ratings were paused for 2 years because of the pandemic. Well, a shipping container might help in solving a worldwide problem. Still ahead, we'll visit a Colorado business making it easier to grow fresh produce. And the Nuggets took 3 out of 4 against the Warriors in the regular season. Their upcoming playoff series, though, might be closer than you think.